Are you ready? Did you light the candle? Okay, let's start the ritual. Welcome to Intuitively Wild, the podcast. I'm your host, Rachel. This is a space where truth gets its voice back because shame loses its power when we speak to it. Here, we don't skip the hard parts. We sit with them and we learn to hold ourselves inside them. This podcast is ritual in audio form, a way for us to bring intention and intuition back into our everyday. Let's dig into our roots and go deep. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Intuitively Wild podcast. Sometimes I say the Intuitively Wild podcast, and sometimes I say Intuitively Wild, the podcast.
The podcast, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's both. But I'm here again with my mom,
Hi, everyone.
and I'm very excited about this episode because my mom and I are talking about something that is very precious to us, which is our relationship, and even more specifically, or I guess more generally, the mother-daughter dynamic. And so my mom and I were like, my mom's truly my best friend. I truly feel like I can tell her anything. I can show up in any way. She's seen me at my worst, my best, and all the in-betweens. She knows truly, I think my mom knows every single thing about me. There's not. Recently, someone was like, "Did you tell your mom this?" I was like, "What do you mean? Did I tell my mom this?" And
I'm the lucky
so
one.
yeah, and we've always been close. I'm really grateful to say that, but we have had really challenging times in our
Sure.
relationship, and we weren't always this close. And I definitely did not always feel like I could tell my mom everything. And if I did, had to like brace myself for how she would respond. And I'll let my mom speak for herself, but I feel like she feels comfortable telling me things now that she didn't used to. And it's definitely taken some time. And we know that mother-daughter relationships are very challenging. We've witnessed a lot. We've worked with a lot in our own work. My mom, especially being a psychotherapist and working with a lot of family dynamics, has worked with and witnessed a lot of different mother-daughter relationships. And I believe that healing mother-daughter relationships heals family trauma, heals ancestral trauma, heals, our relationship with ourselves, with our femininity, with being a woman. I believe that really strongly, and I think it's something that we really need to focus on and, bolster other women up to build that confidence with themselves and that connection with themselves. Um, and so that's actually something my mom and I are going to be hoping, hopefully doing together. We're going to be offering a mother-daughter circle, a ritual at Intuitively Wild. Our plan is to do it monthly, and we'll talk more about this at the end of the episode. But that is where this conversation is stemming from. So, Mom, do you have anything to say on
Well,
that?
I'm really, really looking forward to that. I think that yeah, I mean, again, I could talk about this forever. This relationship, as you say, the mother-daughter relationship in general, and our relationship is just the most complex and potentially um, you know, magnificent um relationship in the world. And through our commitment to each other in throughout our journey, um in our relationship, I have learned so much about myself. I have absolutely learned so much about you, but I've also it's been such a teacher for me, and it has been like this platform for me to understand myself and the world better through in relationship with you. What has been challenging, I think, when you refer to sort of the vicissitudes of our relationship, is that I nurtured you in my womb. I nurtured you as a newborn and child and throughout. And so clearly now, as you have become and have been becoming this incredible woman, in order to strengthen and be authentically in a close, open, trusting relationship, it asks quite a bit from both of us. But I think I've been, you know, challenged in some ways in making shifts because that tendency to want to protect and defend um, is very, very strong, I think, in a lot of mothers, and certainly in your mother, in this mother here. And there's a time for it, and there's a time when it doesn't serve. And as you have become this fiercely independent, incredible human, um, it hasn't, it doesn't ask for, you know, somebody to come in and rescue you. It never has, but certainly not now. And that has sometimes been challenging. And I think that's where sometimes we've had in, as you, in the past, we've had some tension because I was very invested in trying to um, solve problems for you rather than listening to you and allowing you to struggle and then resolve them yourself. And that has been both the hardest and the most rewarding part, and has be, and to the extent that I'm able to do that, I think the connection has gotten stronger and stronger.
Yes, and I have a couple things to say. I think that it's taken me have like voicing what I need and building the confidence in doing that, and also you then listening to that and honoring that and respecting that, even if
Absolutely.
it's not how you want to respond or what you think or, agree with.
Right.
And at the same time, me voicing what I need respectfully, because, on the daughter end, a lot of us know that there's a comfortability with our moms. We know there's that unconditional love. We've known this mom forever. We know she wants to care for us, protect us, or there's just this dynamic with mothers and daughters. And I think it can be easy for the daughter to, if speak to their mom in a way they would never speak to anyone else, whether that's rude or emotional or dramatic or, fill in the blank. We all have our ways that we show up. And, I think that sometimes to a degree that's okay. And especially when you're younger, like that's just kind of how it goes.
Yes.
But as I've gotten older, I have learned, I still can get emotional or still show up in certain ways with you that I don't with anyone else. And that sometimes is why we're so close and sometimes can still bring up some tension. But I've also learned how to show up in a relationship that does foster not only like a healthy mother-daughter relationship, but also just a healthy relationship in general, and treating this as not just a mother-daughter relationship, like treating this as what like a bond that I want to prioritize and that I want to be deep and you know fully connected to. And I think that has also helped a lot. And I've also had to work through my own my own healing journey to be able to do that, because I think in the past I had resentments or frustrations towards you through baggage you brought or ways that I felt you had impacted me negatively. And through my own healing journey, I worked through that and forgave that or accepted that or understood that more. And that also allowed me to approach our relationship with a different energy.
I have absolutely witnessed that, and it has, and I so appreciate your saying that and all the work that you've done on your part. And I think that what it speaks to also is that this, sort of continual evolution of us as individuals and therefore our relationship. And that um, I'll always be your mama, you'll always be my baby. And at the same time, we are two, you know, in- very
Different.
sovereign women who are, have, and we can relate on that level as two women. And so the fact that within the safety of this dyad, you can sort of notice, okay, first of all, it allows for you to emote more in a raw fashion because it is safe and it is unique, and I, unless I am feeling exceedingly vulnerable, which sometimes I am, I understand that and I want you to have that. Um, but I also appreciate that for your own growth and self-awareness, you kind of notice when there's a time for that or when there's just, sort of like a externalizing and getting out certain emotions that just you just want to sort of get rid of, and realizing that maybe I mom doesn't need to be the repository of all that all the time, and that you know while I understand it, it's another human being with feelings. And so we're at that, and I have very much appreciated how much more sensitive you are to that. So I thank you for that.
Yeah, and I really, it's a multi-step process for both of us. Like it's understanding ourselves, it's understanding each other, how we impact each other. It's working through anything that, patterning and old conditioning that might be harming how our relationship shows up. It's really being such good communicators and open and honest with each other. And that's one reason I'm really excited about this offer that we're going to hold together is because I think it's because there's so many different dynamics in play when it comes to mother-daughter relationships. It can be really hard to understand what's getting in the way of a healthy relationship or what's getting in the way of shaping this relationship into something that it deeper than what it is.
Right.
And I think the work, and sometimes you need someone to help you figure that out, and you also need to work through all the different layers of that. And I really believe that this mother-daughter circle is going to allow us all to kind of navigate all the different terrain and come out with more awareness and tools and ways of connecting to each other.
I agree. And it also, I'm also a daughter, sadly, my mother passed away way too early, but we had an incredibly intense and close relationship. And it was also fraught. And what I think yours and my relationship helps me as I continue to connect with my mother spiritually is where that relationship reverberates in my relationship with you in positive ways and in ways that don't enhance our relationship. So it's really, really important to, um, as you say, to understand what you bring to any relationship, right? And so um, I think that in our offering to mother-daughter dyads is to just, you know, also underscore that, like, as you say, you bring to this relationship, as you bring to every relationship, kind of a compilation. of important dynamics and understanding when something from a past relationship or era in your life is driving how you're hearing something or how you're responding to something, as opposed to being fully present in the moment with the person in front of you and listening to them openly, with no agenda, with no kind of push to kind of resolve anything for them, but just to listen to understand them in the moment. That is, something that I've learned not that long ago. I mean, it's been really revelatory, and I look forward to be able to kind of share some of those learnings with other moms and daughters.
Yeah, and allowing both mother and daughter to change and evolve, as you were saying in the beginning, like seeing me as almost a 30-year-old. Oh my God, that's so wild. Um, and not the kid I once was. And also, I also embracing that I do things differently. Like I do see myself
Yes.
kind of as not the black sheep in the family, but I am like changing things for our lineage and doing things differently. And and
Yes, the
breaking.
opposite of the black sheep. Sorry to interrupt, because I think a lot of people think of the black sheep in a derogatory way, and
Well, I just mean like standing out, doing things differently.
yes, as a shining light,
Yeah,
as
not
a
in a
guide,
bad way. But
as a lighthouse.
yeah, so being the daughter who's not afraid to do that, and then also allowing the mom to change and go through her own transformations, both as she gets older, and also as the daughter gets older and sees her mom not only as her mom, but also as, to use this word, her own sovereign woman. And so I think that's a really important part of the dynamic as well that we've been navigating, and that I think would be really interesting to talk about in these circles, and exciting to help other people navigate as well.
Right, absolutely. I'm really, really excited about this.
Yeah, and so I mean, our first one is April 26th, 3 to 4:30. It's a Saturday, and you can come by yourself, if you want to or if you need to,
Absolutely.
or bring your mom, bring your daughter, bring your granddaughter, bring your great
Yeah.
grandma,
Yes.
any of the combinations, bring your whole.
I was just talking to somebody at your open house who is related to me and who is a grandma and a mom and a daughter from the same mother of that I have.
So
But
my
that
mom's
that
sister basically is what
yeah,
she's trying to
my
say.
my sister, who I said, we were talking about the circle and how fascinating it would be for her. She has a daughter, and that daughter has a daughter, and for the three of them to come intergenerationally. Um, and so yeah, that we welcome that as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And like I said, we want to host these monthly, and I think that each month might look a little bit differently depending on the energy, the season, who shows up, what's needed, and also the feedback we get around the structure. And
yeah,
if it's, sometimes we'll have more discussion based, sometimes we'll break out into, you'll be just more talking to your group, or sometimes we might do certain practices and rituals. Definitely journaling. It will look different each time. But you can trust that you will learn more about yourself. You will learn more about your mom and or daughter. Um, and I'm very confident that it can only heal. Like it can only help. It can only bring more openness and love. And I have chills. I Yeah, I I'm just really excited. Um,
I want to just say, just to pick up on that. Sorry to interrupt, but I just
no, no.
that it's the feedback from the people who are drawn to come, and then maybe hopefully participate, is going to drive much of the content. And if there are, sometimes it will be sort of more thematic. There's a particular issue that seems to be a through line that people want to talk about. But in no situation will anybody ever feel unsafe
Mm-hmm. Yes.
or judged.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can say with confidence that my mom and I are two of the most non-judgmental people.
Yes.
And we're very open. We come with such pure intentions for this circle. My mom, is a psychotherapist, has her PhD, done a lot of work with, a whole range of these dynamics from healthy to the very, 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 very unhealthy. I also have done a lot of my own work in this realm with mental health and both personally and professionally, and come with, my own
Quite a bit of
background.
experience and training. I think that's very important to say that
Yeah, because
we,
this
yeah,
can be like a very delicate, um,
exactly.
uh, sensitive topic and
Yes,
dynamic too, especially when you're bringing all different kinds of people together. And so,
right.
yeah, I think it is important to say. And we're both good at holding the foundation, holding the energy. Um, so if and we also we want to do more podcast conversations as well, talking about different family dynamics. So if anyone has any questions, um, let us know. Is there anything else you want to add, Mom, before we?
I don't think so. Just very excited about it.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about the circle, please don't hesitate to reach out. And um, I think that's all for now.
Yeah,
But
looking
we
forward to
will see you
doing it.
all at
See you
our
all.
mother-daughter circle. Um, and if you're a father or a son, you're not invited, but tell your moms and daughters. Uh,
We'll try to figure out something for you guys. But right
yeah.
now,
Right
it's
now,
all about the
this
mothers
is
and
the one we're
daughters.
going. But also, if you're non-binary and feel called to this, you are more than welcome. So
Absolutely.
that, you know, use that with your discretion. Okay, and with that, we will leave it. Thank you all, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Intuitively Wild, the podcast. I hope it helped deepen your connection to yourself, sparked some insights, and inspired you to live intuitively wild. If you enjoyed this podcast, it would mean so much to me if you would share it with others and leave a rating and review. And please reach out to me. I would love to connect with you. I will see you next time for more magic.